Listen to me closely. Not everyone who listens to your story deserves access to your soul. Some people don't want to understand you. They want information. And information in the wrong hands becomes a weapon. I want to start with a truth that may sting a little because the truths that heal usually do. You've been taught that sharing is connection, that vulnerability means telling people everything, that if someone asks, you owe them an answer. You don't. Your personal life is sacred ground, not public property. Every detail you give away is a piece of emotional currency, and most people don't know how to spend it with care. They spend it recklessly. They gossip. They compare. They distort. Here's what no one warns you about when you overshare. You don't build intimacy. You give away power. You hand people unfinished stories about you, and they finish them without your consent. Not everyone who smiles at you is safe. Not everyone who asks, "How are you?" is prepared for the truth. And not everyone who comforts you today won't quietly use your pain against you tomorrow. Privacy is not secrecy. Privacy is self-respect. You are allowed to pause before answering. You are allowed to say, "I'm still processing that." You are allowed to keep parts of your life just for you. Because the strongest people in the room are not the loudest. They are the ones who know what to protect, when to speak, and who has earned the right to hear. Let me say this gently, but clearly talking about everything is not the same as healing from everything. We've confused release with relief. We think if we say it out loud, it will hurt less, but often it hurts more. When you share your personal life with the wrong people, you don't feel lighter afterward. You feel exposed. You replay the conversation in your head. You wonder if you said too much. You start shrinking yourself to manage how others now see you. That feeling, that's your intuition saying, this wasn't safe. Not everyone has the emotional maturity to hold your truth. Some people listen only to compare. Some listen to feel superior. Some listen so they can retell your story with themselves in the center. And here's the painful part. Once your story leaves your mouth, you lose control of it. You can't unhear what they misunderstood. You can't retrieve the version of you they've created in their mind. Healing requires containment, not exposure. It needs a steady, grounded space, not random ears and casual conversations. True healing happens when you choose carefully, when you slow down, when you ask yourself, has this person shown me they can be trusted with my pain? Most people haven't. Your struggles are not entertainment. Your wounds are not conversation starters. Your private life is not proof of closeness. You don't owe people access just because they're curious. You don't owe explanations to feel validated. You don't owe details to be understood. Sometimes the bravest thing you can say is nothing at all. Silence, when chosen intentionally, is not weakness. It is wisdom protecting itself. Here is a hard truth most people learn too late. What you share today can be used against you tomorrow, not because people are evil, but because people are human, insecure, competitive, emotional. The moment you reveal your fears, your mistakes, your doubts, you give others a map of your soft spots. And when relationships shift, and they always do, that map doesn't disappear. People remember what you said when you were vulnerable. They remember what made you cry. They remember what you said you were afraid of becoming. And in moments of jealousy, anger, or quiet resentment, they reach for that information. This is why personal boundaries are not walls. They are seatbelts. They don't stop connection. They stop damage. You may think, they would never use this against me. But betrayal rarely looks like betrayal at first. It looks like comfort. It looks like laughter. It looks like trust. Until it doesn't. Oversharing creates a false sense of intimacy. Real intimacy is built slowly through consistency, not confession dumps. It's built when someone protects your name when you're not in the room, when they don't repeat what you told them in confidence, when they respect your privacy without being reminded. Most people don't pass that test. Strength is not revealing everything. Strength is discernment. It's knowing that your story is powerful, and power must be handled carefully. You don't need to harden your heart. You need to harden your boundaries. There is a quiet strength in being private that insecure people don't understand. They mistake silence for secrecy. They mistake boundaries for arrogance. They mistake your restraint for distance. But what you are actually practicing is emotional intelligence. Emotionally intelligent people don't react. They regulate. They don't speak to be seen. They speak to be safe. They understand that every conversation doesn't need depth, and every relationship doesn't deserve access. When you stop explaining your personal life, something powerful happens. You stop seeking approval. You stop needing validation. You stop outsourcing your self-worth to other people's reactions. Privacy teaches you how to sit with your feelings instead of performing them. It teaches you how to process before you speak, not after you regret. It gives you time to understand what you're actually feeling instead of letting others name it for you. And here's the part no one tells you: when you keep your life private, people treat you with more respect, not because they know less, but because they sense there is more. Mystery creates boundaries. Boundaries create safety. Safety creates power. You don't need to announce your struggles to be real. You don't need to share your plans to make them valid. You don't need an audience to justify your growth. The most grounded people I know move quietly. They heal without headlines. They grow without witnesses. Privacy is not hiding. It is choosing peace over performance. One of the most exhausting habits you can break is explaining yourself to people who haven't earned clarity. You think if they just understood your reasons, your pain, your past, they would be kinder. They won't. Context doesn't create compassion in people who lack empathy. It just gives them more material to judge you with. You don't owe your backstory to justify your boundaries. You don't owe explanations for your no. You don't owe emotional transparency to feel accepted. When someone pressures you to share more than you're ready to, that is not care. That is entitlement. Healthy people respect limits without demanding footnotes. Here's the truth: people who truly care about you don't need all the details. They trust your decisions without interrogating your motives. They don't push for access. They wait to be invited. The moment you stop over-explaining, you'll notice who gets uncomfortable. Those are the people who benefited from your openness, not your well-being. Your life is not a courtroom. You are not on trial. You do not need to prove your innocence by revealing your wounds. There is power in saying, I'm handling it. There is dignity in saying, that's private. There is freedom in realizing that being misunderstood by the wrong people is safer than being exposed to them. Clarity is earned through trust, not demanded through curiosity. And the more you honor that truth, the calmer your nervous system becomes. Your pain is not community property. It is not a lesson for everyone. It is not something people get to consume just because they were present in your life. There is a deep emotional cost to turning your wounds into open conversations. Every time you repeat your story to someone unsafe, your nervous system relives it. You reopen what was trying to close. You delay your own healing in the name of being open. Some people don't sit with your pain. They study it. They analyze it. They use it to define you, shrink you, or keep you frozen in a version of yourself you've already outgrown. And that's the danger. When too many people know your struggles, they stop seeing your strength. They start relating to you through your worst moments instead of your growth. They remember who you were when you were broken, not who you are becoming. Healing needs privacy. Growth needs protection. Transformation happens best away from commentary. You don't need to be witnessed to be valid. You don't need your pain to be acknowledged by everyone to be real. You don't need sympathy from people who secretly enjoy your vulnerability. Some journeys are meant to be walked quietly, with your head down and your heart guarded, not because you are ashamed, but because you are becoming something precious. There comes a moment in emotional maturity when you realize not everyone gets the same version of you. And that realization is not cruelty, it is self-respect. You don't give strangers your home address. You don't hand your bank details to people you barely know. So why do you hand out your inner world? So freely discretion is knowing that access must be earned. It's understanding that closeness is built through time, consistency, and behavior, not emotional dumping. It's recognizing that some people are only meant to know the surface of your life, and that is enough. When you stop sharing everything, you stop feeling drained after conversations. You stop regretting what you said. You stop needing to emotionally recover from being too open. And here's something powerful: people who lack boundaries feel entitled to yours. They get offended when you become private. They accuse you of changing. You have changed. You've learned. You've learned that peace is more important than being understood. That safety matters more than being liked. That your emotional energy is finite and you must spend it wisely. Discretion doesn't make you cold. It makes you grounded. It allows you to show up whole instead of exposed. You can still be kind. You can still be warm. You can still be open selectively. Because self-respect begins the moment you decide, my inner life is not up for casual access. There is a version of you that only survives because you didn't explain yourself, because you didn't announce your plans, because you didn't share your next move with people who would have doubted it, delayed it, or drained it. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is incubation. When you speak too soon, you expose fragile dreams to harsh opinions. You invite feedback before clarity. You let other people's fears mix with your vision, and suddenly you're hesitating. Some people don't sabotage you intentionally. They do it unconsciously. They project their limitations onto your future and call it concern. That's why privacy is protection. The strongest transformations happen quietly. The decision to leave, the choice to heal, the commitment to change. When you keep your personal life to yourself, you give yourself space to grow without pressure, without expectation, without constant explanation. And here's the truth: people will respect your results more than your intentions. They will believe in your strength once they see it, not while you're still building it. Silence keeps your focus clean. It keeps your energy directed. It keeps your future intact. You don't need applause while you're becoming. You need clarity, courage, and containment. Here's where most people get it wrong. Sharing is not bad. Oversharing is. There's a difference between trust and convenience, between intimacy and indiscretion. When you share selectively, you reclaim power. You decide who deserves the real you, who earns the right to witness your story, and who will honor it without judgment. Think about it. Not everyone who asks is ready to listen. Not everyone who smiles is prepared to hold your truth. Not everyone who says, I'm here for you, can actually protect your heart. Selective sharing is a form of emotional sovereignty. It says, I am the gatekeeper of my own life. I will decide who enters and how much they see. I will not let curiosity or convenience dictate my intimacy. This is empowerment because it teaches people how to treat you. It teaches them patience, respect, and humility. It separates the fleeting from the faithful, the shallow from the sincere. And here's the reality most of us ignore. People who truly care won't demand everything. They won't probe. They won't insist. They will wait. They will earn it. When you understand that selective sharing is strength, not selfishness, you stop apologizing for your boundaries. You stop feeling guilty for protecting your energy. You start to attract relationships that are genuine, safe, and lasting. Because intimacy is precious, and only the right people deserve to hold it. Here's the truth I want you to carry with you. Your personal life is your sanctuary. It is sacred. It is the foundation of your emotional freedom. When you stop sharing everything with everyone, you gain clarity, confidence, and control. You no longer bounce between approval and validation. You no longer react to every question, every opinion, every curiosity. You become the architect of your own life, not a character in someone else's narrative. The people who deserve access will show patience. They will show care. They will earn your trust over time. And when they do, your sharing is not exposure. It is connection. It is intentional. It is beautiful. Remember, every time you overshare, you give away pieces of yourself that cannot be reclaimed. Every time you guard your story, You protect your energy, your growth, and your peace. Every time you choose privacy, you honor yourself. So start today. Decide what parts of your life are yours alone. Decide who earns the right to witness your world. Decide that your experiences, your pain, your dreams, they are not for everyone, because living openly with everyone is not bravery. Living carefully with yourself is. And the most powerful people I know are not the loudest. They are the ones who protect their hearts, honor their stories, and choose wisely who gets to see the real them. Your life is yours. Keep it sacred, keep it private, and watch how your world transforms.